Sorry about that. For some reason, my mic input changed.
And
Alright, shalom. Welcome to Cover with Jeremy Pyers.
Calvin
And,
Pyers and Blinky Pyers.
and
Hello.
welcome, Andrea and R.A. Tacky. Shalom, family.
Hello.
So today we're going to be reading the final part of the book of Enoch. It'll be, chapter 100 through 105. So, and then after this, I'm actually also going to be getting into Paul's letters in depth. Yeah, I know there was no sound. For some reason, my mic input changed, and I didn't touch it. Anyways, thank you.
And today is going to be a fun video.
So yeah, we're going to be getting into the last part of Enoch, and then we're going to be moving on to the letters of Paul. And it's kind of funny how, Sean, he just started his series on it as well. So, interesting timing there.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll jump right into it here.
And let's play video.
Alright, chapter 100 from the book of Enoch from the Eth Sefer. In those days, the angels shall descend into the places of concealment, and gather together in one spot all that have assisted in crime. In that day shall El Elyon rise up to execute the great judgment upon all sinners, and to commit the guardianship of all righteous and holy to the holy angels, and that they may protect them as the apple of an eye, until every evil and every crime be annihilated. Whether or not the righteous sleep securely, wise men shall then truly perceive. And the sons of the earth shall understand every word of that Sefer, knowing that their riches cannot save them in the ruin of their crime. So it's saying, your riches and your wealth of the earth aren't going to save you from the day of Yahuwah and his judgment. Woe to you sinners, when you shall be afflicted on account of the righteous, in the day of the great trouble, shall be burnt in fire, and recompensed according to your deeds. Woe to you, perverted in heart, who are watchful to obtain an accurate knowledge of evil, and to discover terrors. No one shall assist you. Woe to you sinners, for with the words of your mouths, and with the work of your hands, have you acted impiously. In the flame of a blazing fire shall you be burnt. And now know that the angels shall inquire into your conduct in heaven of the sun, the moon, and the stars, respecting your sins. For upon earth you exercise jurisdiction over the righteous. Every cloud shall bear witness against you, the snow, the dew, the rain, for all of them shall be withheld from you, that they may not descend upon you, nor become subservient to your crimes. Pretty interesting there. How pretty much, the sun, moon, stars, clouds, rain, dew, all that is going to be a witness against you for your crimes. Or a witness against the ones who do crimes and are unrepentant. Now then, bring gifts of salutation to the rain, that not being withheld, it may descend upon you. and to the dew, if it has received from you gold and silver. But when the frost, snow, cold, and every snowy wind, and every suffering belonging to them fall upon you, in those days will you be utterly incapable of standing before them. So, pretty interesting stuff there. Chapter 101. Attentively consider heaven, all you progeny of heaven, and all the works of El Elyon. Fear him, nor conduct yourselves criminally before him. If he shut up the windows of heaven, restraining the rain and dew, that it may not descend upon the earth on your account, what will you do? And if he sends his wrath upon you, and upon all your deeds, you are not they who can supplicate him. You who utter against his righteousness language proud and powerful, to you there shall be no peace. Do you not see the commanders of ships, how their vessels are tossed about by the waves, torn to pieces by the winds, and exposed to the greatest peril? That they therefore fear, because their whole property is embarked with them on the ocean, and that they forebode evil in their hearts, because it may swallow them up, and they may perish in it. Is it not the whole sea, all its waters, and all its commotion, the work of him, El Elyon? Of him who has sealed up all its exertions, and girded it on every side with sand? Pretty interesting. Another flat earth terminology. Or flat earth verse, I should say. At his rebuke, dried up and alarmed, while all while all its fish with everything in it die. And will not you sinners who on earth fear him? Is not he the maker of heaven and earth, and all of the things which are in them? And who has given erudition and wisdom to all that move upon the earth and over the sea? Are not the commanders of ships terrified at the ocean? And shall not sinners be terrified at El Elyon? Chapter 102. In those days, when he shall cast the calamity of fire upon you, whither will you fly, and where will you be safe? And when he sends forth his word against you, are you not spared and terrified? All the luminaries are agitated with great fear, and all the earth is spared, while it trembles and suffers anxiety. All the angels fulfill the commands received by them, and are desirous of being concealed from the presence of the great glory, while the children of the earth are alarmed and troubled. But you sinners are forever accursed. To you there shall be no peace. Fear not, souls of the righteous, but wait with patient hope for the day of your death in righteousness. Grieve not, because your souls descend in great trouble, with groaning, lamentation, and sorrow, to the receptacle of the dead. In your lifetime, your bodies have not received a recompense in proportion to your goodness. But in the period of your existence have sinners existed, in the period of execration and punishment. So this is basically telling us just to be patient and wait. It might seem like hard times and all that, but Messiah said we will suffer these for being righteous. And to die for Yahuwah and Yahusha and their name is life. It's an honor to die for them. That's how I would put that, honestly. Hey, shalom, Alyssa. Glad you could finally make it back. Long time no see. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, like it should be an honor to give your life for the Father, especially for His name and His ways. That's why I tell everybody, test everything for yourselves. Follow no man. Don't even follow me. Just follow what His word says. Alright, I'll continue. My apologies. And when you die, sinners, say concerning you, as we die, the righteous die. What profit have they in their works? Behold, like us, they expire in sorrow and in darkness. What advantage have they over us? Henceforward we are equal. What will be within their grasp? And what before their eyes forever? For behold, they are dead, and never will they again perceive the light. I say unto you, sinners, you have been satisfied with meat and drink, with the plunder of men, and and rapine with sin, with the acquisition of wealth, and with the sight of good days. Have you not marked the righteous, how their end is in peace? For no oppression is found in them, even to the day of their death. They perish, and are as if they were not, while their souls descend in trouble to the receptacle of the dead. Chapter 103. But now I swear to you, righteous, by the greatness of His splendor and His glory, by His illustrious kingdom, and by His majesty to you, I swear that I comprehend this mystery, and that I have read the tablet of heaven, have seen the writings of the Holy Ones, and have discovered what is written and impressed on it concerning you, that all goodness, joy, and glory has been prepared for you and been written down for the ruach of them who die, eminently righteous and good. To you shall it be given in return for your troubles, and your portion shall far exceed the portion of the living. The ruach of you who die in righteousness shall exist and rejoice. Their ruach shall exult, and their remembrance shall be before the face of El Elohim, from generation to generation, nor shall they now fear disgrace. Woe to you, sinners, when you die in your sins, and they who are like you say respecting you, blessed are these sinners. They have lived out their whole period, and now they die in happiness and in wealth. Distress and slaughter they knew not while alive. In honor they die. nor even in their lifetime did judgment overtake them. Has it not been shown to them that to the receptacle of the dead that their souls shall be made to descend? Their evil deeds shall become their greatest torment. Into darkness, into the snare, and into the flame, which shall burn to the great judgment, shall their Ruachoth enter, and the great judgment shall take effect forever and ever. Woe to you, for to you there shall be no peace, neither can you say to the righteous and to the good who are alive, in the days of our trouble have we been afflicted. Every trouble have we seen, and many evil things have suffered. Our Ruachoth have been consumed, lessened, and diminished. We have perished, nor has there been a possibility of help for us in word or in deed. We have found none, but we have been tormented and destroyed. We have not expected to live day after day. We hoped, indeed, to have been the head, but we have become the tail. We have been afflicted when we have exerted ourselves, but we have been devoured by sinners and the wicked. Their yoke has been heavy upon us. Those who have exercised dominion over us, who detest and who goad us, and to those who hate us have we humbled our neck. But they have shown us no compassion towards us. We have been desirous of escaping from them, that we might fly away and be at rest. But we have found no place to which we could fly and be secure from them. We have sought an asylum with princes in our distress, and have cried out to those who were devouring us. But our cry has not been regarded, nor have they been disposed to hear our voice, but rather to assist those who plunder and devour us, those who diminish us and hide their oppression, who remove not their yoke from us, but devour, enervate and slay us, and who conceal our slaughter, nor remember that they have lifted their hands against us. So yeah, I think this is really true. It's the ones who have known pain and suffering and hard times, and who have had hard lives, all that. These are the ones like us, We know what it's like to suffer. So therefore, I think that's why Yahweh, chooses us. Because, we've been through pain and suffering, and we still care. And that's the whole part. I know many of us have. I have myself. I've been through rock bottom and back. And only Yahweh has helped me through everything. He is amazing, and all praise goes to him, honestly. Well, thank you, Alyssa. It's an honor to have you here. Alright. But yeah, it's those who suffer and go through afflictions. And Messiah said to be on the right path. That's what's going to happen. I know every day I go through struggles. It's not an easy journey. But I ain't changing my path. That's for sure. I found the path, and I'm staying on it. No demon, not even Satan himself, can turn me from it. I just tell him, get behind me, Satan.
He's imitating.
He's imitating, faking, thinking he's the God of all creation. He's gonna get thrown in his home in the lake of fire and brimstone. Anyways, let me continue. Chapter 104. I swear to you, righteous, that in heaven the angels record your goodness before the glory of El Elohim. Wait with patient hope, for formerly you have been disgraced with evil and with affliction. But now you shall shine like the luminaries of heaven. You shall be seen, and the gates of heaven shall be opened to you. Your cries for judgment, your cries have cried for judgment, and it has appeared to you for an account, for all your suffering shall be required from the princes and from everyone who has assisted your plunders. Wait with patient hope, nor relinquish your confidence, for great joy shall be yours, like that of angels in heaven. Conduct yourselves as you may. Still, you shall not be concealed in the day of the great judgment. You shall not be found like sinners, and eternal condemnation shall be far from you, as long as the world exists. And now fear not, righteous, when you see sinners flourishing and prosperous in their ways. Be not associates with them, but keep yourselves at a distance from their oppression. Be you associated with the host of heaven. You sinners say, all our transgressions shall not be taken account of and be recorded, but all your transgressions shall be recorded daily. And be assured by me that the light and darkness, day and night, behold all your transgressions. Be not impious in your thoughts, lie not, surrender not the word of uprightness, lie not against the word of the holy and El Elohim. Glorify not your idols, for all your lying and all your impiety is not for righteousness, but for great crime. And I just think this book is so amazing because it describes in detail exactly the times we live in today. And right from the beginning it says, he wrote it for us living in the times of these days. And it's funny because that's exactly what, the godless and sinners say today. Our transgressions aren't taken account of, and blah, 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 and this and that, and they just keep on doing what they're doing and sinning, and it's rampant. Now I will point out a mystery. Many sinners shall turn and transgress against the word of uprightness. They shall speak evil things, shall utter falsehood, and create a great creation, and compose Sepharim in their own words. Jasher. Sorry, had some in my throat. But when they shall write all my words correctly in their own languages, they shall neither change or diminish them, but shall write them all correctly, all from which the first I have uttered concerning them. Pretty interesting, huh? And I find it very interesting, Enoch points out all these huge things. If you followed me and have been watching since the beginning of it, it's pointed out a lot of things, like especially things that have to do with the calendar, things that line up exactly with Jubilees, talking about extra books that are going to be written to deceive. And it's funny because people will read this and not even see these things, and then go flying, taking the book of Enoch's way out of context and following the moon with it, or using it to add some kind of 13th month and this and that and another thing. And it's like, none of that is even in Enoch, especially if you read it in context. and people who like to use these books that don't line up, like Jasher and the Targums. It's just, there's so much extra in them that it just doesn't line up. And many big ministries cause much confusion by going to these books for doctrines. And I mean, you guys can check out my video on just the first few chapters of the book of Jasher. I know I'm going to continue it. I just haven't really had a chance. But I picked it apart, and you can tell how much it does not line up. I've shown people that, and people have told me I'm reaching. And it's like, it's written. Like, I compare side-by-side verses to show how it is disgusting and it doesn't line up. Can you read it for stories and stuff? Sure, why not? Can you read it to, like, maybe glean on what scriptures isn't clear about? Sure, but I mean, I would take it with a grain of salt, but I wouldn't be going to them and using them for readings and doctrines like many ministries do. And then you get these huge, crazy doctrines that get rampant, like serpent seed theory, barking at the moon, like all kinds of stuff. And then people will sit and bicker over that instead of like lifting each other up because they just want to be correct. And it's like, whoa, what has happened? It's not how it should be. Anyways. Yeah, exactly, prodigal son. No 13th month anywhere in scripture. Where's Westplate at? I think that was a Mike Marantha verse, actually. But yeah, I go to these big ministries and I question them, and I get blocked and hated on them just for asking questions. The only one that really hasn't hated and blocked me is Rob Skiba. Adam Fink hasn't either, actually. Like, he kind of like passes off my questions and never answers them. But whatever. I actually talked with Rob Skiba about all these crazy theories that him and Zen Garcia have been sharing lately, and how he needs to be careful because he has so much influence on people, and he doesn't realize that even just throwing out an opinion or just some kind of, hey, we don't take this book as doctrine, but we're just reading it, like, people will start taking that as doctrine. And like, I explained that to him, and he said thank you. And that's how it should be. Like, people blindly follow these ministries for everything that they say without testing it, which creates a huge amount of confusion and chaos, and it creates hate. And like, no, we're supposed to be coming together, spreading his word, sharing it in love, not bickering over whose watch is telling the correct time. I just finished reading Enoch last month. It's a wonderful piece of scripture that has been missing for far too long. Exactly, prodigal son. It's I discovered the book of Enoch like 12 years ago, and I've been reading it ever since. There's so much to glean, and just reading these books once doesn't, like, every time you read it, it's just like scriptures, like something new every time. You just learn and learn and learn. You can never stop learning. Yeah, Rob's affliction with Zen turned me off Torah for a while. Yeah, that's the thing too, is like, they throw out these crazy theories that don't line up, and oh yeah, they line up. Okay, show me one verse that lines up. And then they go sidetracking and never showing a verse. And it's like, I thought you said it lines up, and many verses do, but you can't show me a single one that does? Like, anyways. Anyways, getting off track here a little bit. It's just, question them. That's what I do. Yeah, Sean's channel. I've been following Sean for over 3 years now. Probably like right after he started. That's when I started watching him. And that's when, like, I really started learning about context a lot more. And that's when it does all make sense. When you read things in context. It's just, that's why, we need each other to help, glean, not just to build doctrines off each other, like, but to help each other, with things, like, point out in scriptures, things like that. Don't add to them by making up some kind of story that's nowhere in scriptures just for your theory to make sense. Yeah, about 3 months for you, RA. Awesome. Yeah, it's the last few years, there's been more and more coming into this movement. When Yahuwah first opened my eyes to it about 5 years ago, I thought I was the only one who could see this. Then that's when I found, what was it? It was a channel on YouTube. I still watch them. What was it? Truth Unedited. That's what it was. It was Truth Unedited. And I watched their, what was it? History of Religion little series that he's got on there. And that started to really open my eyes. And then I started finding Rob Skiba's channel and the biblical cosmology and all that, and it just blew up from there. Pedal to the metal. Anyway, let me continue reading. My apologies. It kind of went off there. Thank you all for listening to me. All right, so 104 verse 10. Another mystery I also point out: to the righteous and the wise shall be given Sepharim of joy, of integrity, and of great wisdom. To them shall Sepharim be given, in which they shall believe, and in which they shall rejoice, and all the righteous shall be rewarded, who from these shall acquire the knowledge of every upright path in those days, says Yahuwah. They shall call out to the excuse me. They shall call out to the children of the earth and make them listen to their wisdom. Show them that you are their leaders, and that remuneration shall take place over the whole earth. For I and my Son will forever hold communion with them in the paths of uprightness. Right there is where he says it. Messiah is his son. This is also another reason why the Zionists don't like this book. while they are still alive, peace shall be yours. Rejoice, children of integrity, in the truth. Alright, so chapter 105 here. And more people in the flat earth groups I follow are coming to Torah. Yeah, it's because that's what helped open my eyes to Torah as well, this flat earth. Because once you realized we're not in some infinite vacuum that's ever expanding, floating aimlessly with no meaning, that's when you realize you are important and there is a creator. And they created this whole Masonic fallacy ball to hide Yahuwah from everybody. Like, I've been watching a lot of Wits It Gets It lately, actually, and like, he's been smacking it out there, you know. And it's funny, I've kind of learned a few things from him as well, you know, like people don't even know the mathematics or physics behind the ball model. They have no clue about it, but they believe it blindly. And like, it's so it's just baffling, you know. It's baffling. I was once like that. And then once you realize that, once you start researching and studying and really getting kind of down them rabbit holes, like, that's when you realize everything's a lie. Everything they've told us is a lie. And the Bible is truth. Spit and truth is hard to stop, 100%. These truths build up on each other in the order y'all put them all in. Exactly. The flat earth brought me to Torah too. That's right. Yeah, like, I don't know if it happens to anyone else, but, you know, I'll be thinking about something, or, you know, something scriptural, and pondering about it. And then, like, that same verse will happen to come up in a reading or just somewhere, and more depth will go into it. Like, I believe that's Yahweh answering questions. Like, when you pray and you ask, he's going to answer. And it always happens. Like, literally, I'll have a question and I'll pray about it. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes it's even like a week or two later. But I'll get the answer. The exact answer I was looking for. And it's shown to me by Yahweh. Just so many things that it's so hard to explain, that to me proves for a fact the scriptures are real and he is real. I'm sure many of you know the same and feel the same. Know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so 105, this will be the last chapter for this evening and the entire book of Enoch. After a time, my son Methuselah took a woman for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool, and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun, and the whole house abounded with light. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, Lamech his father became afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father Methuselah and said, I have begotten a son unlike others. He is not of men, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven, is of a different nature, being altogether unlike us. His eyes are as the rays of the sun, his countenance glorious, and he looks not as if he belonged to me, but the angels. I am afraid, lest something miraculous should take place on earth in his days. And now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor Enoch, and learn from him the truth, for his residence is with the angels. That's pretty amazing right there, huh? When Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me at the extremities of the earth, for he had been informed that I was there, and he cried out. I heard his voice and went to him, saying, Behold, I am here, my son, since you have come to me. He answered and said, On account of a great event, I have come to you, and on account of a sight difficult, I have approached you. And now, my father, hear me, for my son Lamech, a child has been born, who resembles not him, and whose nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow. He is redder than the rose. The hair of his head is whiter than white wool. His eyes are like the rays of the sun. And when he opened them, he illuminated the whole house. When also he was taken from the hand of the midwife, his father Lamech feared and fled to me, believing not what belonged to him, but that he resembled the angels of heaven. And behold, I am come to you, that you might point out to me the truth. Then Enoch answered and said, Yahweh will effect a new thing upon the earth. This I have explained, and seen in a vision. I have shown you in that generation of Jared my father. Those who were from heaven disregarded the word of Yahweh. Behold, they committed crimes, laid aside their class, and intermingled with women. With them also they transgressed, married with them, and begat children, who are not like spiritual beings, but creatures of flesh. A great destruction therefore shall come upon all the earth, a deluge, a great destruction shall take place in 1 year. This child which is born to your son shall survive on the earth, and his 3 sons shall be saved with him. When all mankind who are on the earth shall die, he shall be safe, and his posterity shall beget on the earth giants, not spiritual, but carnal. Upon the earth shall a great punishment be inflicted, and it shall be washed from all corruption. Now, therefore, inform your son Lamech, that he who is born is a child in truth, and he shall call his name Noah, for he shall be to you a survivor. He and his children shall be saved from the corruption which shall take place in the world, from all the sin and from all the iniquity which shall be consummated on earth in his days. Afterwards shall greater impiety take place than that which has been before consummated on the earth. For I am acquainted with holy mysteries, which Yahweh himself has discovered and explained to me, and which I have read in the tablets of heaven. In them I saw written that generation after generation shall transgress until a righteous race shall arise, until transgression and crime perish from off the earth, until all goodness come upon it. And now, my son, go tell your son Lamech that the child which is born is child in truth, and that there is no deception. When Methuselah heard the word of his father Enoch, who had shown him every secret thing, he returned with understanding, and called the name of that child Noah, because he was to console the earth on account of its destruction. Another sefer which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah, and for those who should come after him, and guard their purity of conduct in the latter days. you have labored shall wait in those days until the evildoers be consumed and the power of the guilty be annihilated. Wait until sin pass away, for their names shall be blotted out of the holy Sepharim. Their seed shall be destroyed, and their Ruach slain. They shall cry out and lament in the invisible waste, and in the bottomless fire shall they burn. There I perceived, as it were, a cloud which could not be seen through, for from the depth of it I was unable to look upwards. I beheld also a flame of fire blazing brightly. As it were, glittering mountains whirled around and agitated from side to side. Then I inquired of one of the holy angels who was with me, and said, What is splendid? For it is not heaven, but a flame of fire alone which blazes, and the clamor of exclamation of woe and of great suffering. Excuse me. He said, There, into that place which you behold, shall be thrust the Ruach of sinners and blasphemers, of those who shall do evil, and who shall pervert all which Elohim has spoken by the mouth of the prophets, all which they ought to do. For respecting these things there shall be writings and impressions above in heaven, that the angels may read them and know what shall happen, both to sinners and to the Ruach of the humble, to those who have suffered in their bodies, but have been rewarded by Elohim, who have been injuriously treated by wicked men, who have loved Elohim, who have been attached neither to gold nor silver nor to any good thing in the world, but given to their bodies to torment. To those from the period of their birth have not been covetous of earthly riches, but have regarded themselves as a breath passing away. Such has been their conduct, and much has Yahweh tried them. And their Ruach have been found pure, that they might bless his name. All their blessings I related in a sefer, and he has rewards for them, for they have been found to love heaven with an everlasting aspiration, while they have been trodden down by wicked men. They have heard from them reviling and blaspheming, and have been ignominiously treated while they were blessing me. And now I will call the Ruach of the good from the generation of light, and will change those who have been born in darkness, who have not in their bodies been recompensed with glory, as their belief may have merited. I will bring them into the splendid light of those who love my holy name, and I will place each of them on a throne of glory his own, and they shall rest during unnumbered periods. Righteous is the judgment of Elohim, for to the believing shall he give belief in the habitation of uprightness. They shall see those who have been born in darkness unto darkness shall be cast, while the uprighteous shall be at rest. Sinners shall cry out, beholding them, while they exist in splendor and proceed forward to the days and periods prescribed to them. All right. That is Enoch. At Jeremiah 33:3, call me, I'll show you. Deuteronomy test of a prophet. Enoch just passed. Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, everything in Enoch lines up with scriptures. The people that say it doesn't, I've just read it for like the 1000th time again, and this time live to, show people it actually does line up. So does every book I have read on my channel. It lines up. Except for Jasher. And that's the only exception because I wanted to test it to show people how it doesn't line up. And I'm going to also be doing the rest of Jasher, going over the Targums as well to show how they stemmed from Babylon, and the Babylonian Talmud references them and promotes the Targums. I'm not saying the Talmud and the Targums are the same. Like, people seem to confuse. I'm saying the Talmud references the Targums by name, promoting them. Anything the Talmud promotes, I would take with a grain of salt and stay clear of it, honestly. But I mean, I just read what's written. I test everything that I can. That's just who I am. I test everything. I learn as much as I can. And I realize I'm just a fool. It's only Yahweh who gives wisdom. So either, next week we're going to be beginning Paul's letters. Like I said earlier, interesting timing with Sean's channel. It just kind of lined up like that. The prodigal son. Scripture tends to be self-evident. It reveals itself. The more we hide in our hearts, the more is revealed. Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing. Scriptures is written pretty plainly. And there's more than, just one book of scriptures. From Genesis to Revelation, and in many of the extra biblical and apocryphal books, it explains in detail these things. Yeah, Kellen is tired. It's almost 8 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost 8 o'clock.
I had a late start with the video. My apologies. I do have to kind of end it here though, so I can get ready for night. The boss is here. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. Glad to see many people in the chat.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I forgot to say something. This is another Yahoo video.
It is. And, join me next week. We're going to be starting in Paul's letters. I haven't decided. We might just... I'll see where we're going to start. I just want to go through them all in a lot of detail. Question for Callan.
No.
What's his favorite story in the Bible? I don't know. Do you have a favorite story in the Bible?
It's 100.
100?
It's the page 100.
Page 100?
Yeah. Send that to them. That's like...
What?
Oh, they can hear it from the video, right?
Yeah. They can hear you talking right now. I don't know. I read to him constantly, and he's always saying like, "Oh, I didn't know that." I don't think he quite, has the names down and such right quite yet of all the different books. But he does know Yahweh and Yahusha, and he knows how to spell it in Paleo Hebrew.
in Paleo Hebrew.
Yep, Paleo Hebrew.
Paleo Hebrew.
Not no Zionist changed Hebrew of modern day. Anyways. Thank you all for joining us. I'm glad. Thank you all in chat. Thank you all who aren't able to make it live. I know, on the East Coast it's pretty late right now. I'll give you guys a pass, but not. But thank you guys. I think Callan's getting a bit tired.
No, I'm not. I'm getting funny.
Yep, he's getting tired.
No, I'm getting funny.
All right. Shalom, Mishpacha, and have a blessed week. And I'll see you next week.
Yep, and I hope you had a good Yahuwah video and bye.
Shalom.